Welcome to the Pizza Party. My name is Troy from troysweb.com. I am building content for multiple YouTube channels because that's how I live. I make pizza, I cook in the kitchen, I draw floor plans, and I garden, and I play video games. So I'm making content for each of those separate buckets because that's the way YouTube works. It has to be genre specific or they are not going to show a gamer pizza content, right? It doesn't make sense. So anyway, here we are. Today I'm going to show you the Pillsbury thin crust pizza crust in a tube. So it's not like what I've been doing is modifying a frozen pizza, a take and bake pizza, or buying a pizza dough or a pizza crust, like a dry disc. This is wet dough in a tube that you break open and put on a pan. So this actually turned out to be pretty darn good. And it's a square dough, so if you have a round pizza pan, that's not going to work. We're going to talk about pizza pans or baking sheets in a minute. So you can see it's a rectangular pizza. You can also see that the crust looks huge, but that's because I stuffed my crust with the mozzarella sticks and rolled it over, and it came out really, really good. I want to tell you real quick, I'm about to show you my baking sheets. Bam, there they are. And here's what I use to clean my counters, my glass stovetop, and laminate flooring. It's safe for all of those surfaces. It's 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. 1/3 water, 1/3 70% rubbing alcohol, and 1/3 white vinegar. And that's what I use to clean my counters. I prepare the dough on the counter in some cases. Therefore, it's important to keep your countertop incredibly clean. Or I prepare my dough on these baking sheets that I cover with heavy-duty aluminum foil. All right, here we go. I got some ground beef in a cast iron skillet, and I've added a bunch of seasonings. And then I added a can of mushrooms because I didn't have any fresh mushrooms. I would have preferred fresh mushrooms, yep. And then I read the directions, and I figured out that I had to patch that little hole in the dough. And then I put down some shredded cheese, and I didn't fix the hole. I have 2 holes in this dough, but I put down some cheese just because I had a package left over in the fridge, and I used it up. But you can see at the top I have additional cheese, and then I have a block of cheese over on the left. So I cut that block of cheese into sticks, or cheese sticks, and then I put it around 3 sides because I didn't have enough. I ran out of cheese. So I wrapped the dough around the cheese, but I don't have the little dough crimper thing. So I just, rolled it and crossed my fingers. And realistically, it melted and it oozed out into the pizza. So it didn't come out like your stuffed crust from Pizza Hut or any other place that serves pizza or stuffed crust pizza. And at the top, you can see that, because I ran out of cheese, what am I going to do up there? Well, I took a bunch of grated cheese and I jammed it in there, and I tried to squish it into a cheese roll, a bread roll, and cheese filled with cheese up at the top, but it didn't fly. I tore the corner at the upper right hand corner of this picture, and you'll see that ends up getting cut off entirely later. But yeah, there it is up close, trying to jam that stuff in there, but I couldn't stretch the dough over well enough to really get a good seal, and I guess probably because I overdid it. And then I added my tomato sauce, and there's that goofy upper right hand corner piece, and then here is the goofy upper right hand corner piece. But after I added the sauce, I added the cheese, and then I added ground beef and mushrooms, but I only used half of what I expected to use. Yay, I used the rest of it on another pizza. So there it is. Then we threw that in the oven, and it looked really, really good. A couple pictures in the oven, and then it came out of the oven, and it looked really, really good. I want to show you the butter knife again, give you a sense of scale. This pizza turned out to be pretty small, but remember, I curled about 4 inches of it over the mozzarella sticks and trying to make stuffed crust pizza. When I pulled it out of the oven, I put a piece of tin foil on top, I put another baking sheet on top, and then I flipped it over so I could get this shot. And that's when the corner broke off and fell apart. But I wanted to show you the bottom of the crust. I wanted to see the bottom of the crust. And I'm going to show you right here is I had one pizza hole. I think that was another pizza hole, or maybe it was that one. And then this area that got darkly discolored, I think that there it is. There's a pizza hole right here. So melted cheese has oil in it, and I think some of that oil seeped through and created a hot spot. And that's why we have this brown or darker discolored portion here. But it was fine. It was perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Then I flipped it back over. I hit it with a couple paper towels because it's a little bit greasy. And that's what it looks like before I cut it up. And there it is. I actually put it back in the oven, I think, because it cooled while I was taking pictures and flipping it over and screwing around. But then by the time I cut it, I cut a hunk of the. See this? There is no stuffed crust cheese there. The cheese that I had folded over and it melted into the surface or the whole face of the pizza. So I just cut that off and ate it. It was a pretty nice bread roll filled with cheese. And then here you can see this. That cheese seems to have melted out and probably oozed into the rest of the pizza. And then up here you can see that is a pretty doughy and cheesy section of crust there. I won't do this again with this same pizza crust, but in the future I want to do stuffed crust pizzas. And here are the directions for that Pillsbury pizza crust, thin and crispy style. I would debate that. It was thin, but it wasn't crispy. But then again, I overloaded it. I'm the king of overloading a pizza and frequently overcooking them. Because I add so much material, I know that if I don't get it pretty well done on the outside, the inside is going to be raw and mushy-ish. So there you go. Coming up in the future will be many, many more videos about my experiments as I work my way towards handmade dough. And I bought a kitchen scale. I've been watching videos. I bought some pizza cookbooks, reading some of the content there about dough and hydration. I plan to make good, better, best, starting with small, medium, and large, different styles of pizza, thin crust, tavern style, and New York style, and Detroit style, and Neapolitana style, or whatever they call that, and the other one that begins with M, and all the rest. Hopefully you will subscribe to this channel, click that like button, and share this content. If you hit that share button, it opens a little window with a link to this video, and it allows you to choose if you want to send the link by email, text message, Twitter, Facebook, other stuff, and leave a positive comment. It really encourages me to keep going. Hopefully other people will chime in and have a conversation with you in the comment section. I certainly will join the conversation, and that's all I've got today for today. Keep going back.